The film has really intense atmosphere. It had silent sadness moments, and it really built up towards fights with people slowly walking towards each other, and it had moments of suspense with people spying on each other, and it really took its time with people being hurt, really focusing on the moment, really had more silent, relaxed moments in the peaceful environments, in the more happier scenes. So the atmosphere was all around fantastic and just added to the film even more. And the acting is fantastic. Hugh Jackman is intense, detailed, dramatic and violent, and also vicious and cruel and enraged in his yells and his eyes, and also in his facial performance, and his movement also perfectly fits it. And he can also play sadness and hopelessness, as well as happy and warm as well, and having very loving eyes and having a real chemistry with the other actors, really coming off loving and selfless. And Liev Schreiber is sadistic, violent, menacing and cocky, and Danny Huston really managed to come across as arrogant and obsessed and relaxed and fluid and manipulative. And Lane Collins is really sweet and warm, relaxed, sad, and also vulnerable and caring. Lane Collins also has really good chemistry with Hugh Jackman, really coming off comfortable and sweet in the way she looks around him and really kissing him lovingly, and they really hug in a comfortable way. She also really comes off concerned and worried when he talks about Stryker, and she really comes off as though she cares about him, and that enhances the romance between them even further and gives them great chemistry all around. Adela Kitsch is really smooth and warm, fearful, assertive, tough and detailed, and the film has really dramatic direction. It has strong close-ups in the more stressful scenes, and the camera often moves with Stryker, adding a sense of him manipulating Wolverine, and it moves slowly with the characters, adding a sense of innocence, and it moves based on the movement of the characters, adding a sense of intimacy. But it isn't as energetic as that in the first three films, and it uses more shot reverse shots. This is good, as this makes the film more of a character drama, and this really fits the film's more character driven feel and adds to more subtle emotion than in the first three films. What? Can't a man spend time on his appearance? Does this automatically make me gay? What? I'm automatically gay because I like to do my hair detailedly, and because I like to have long hair, and because I often like to do my nails, and because I like to work with flowers, and because I like to cook, and love to talk in a cute voice to kittens, and I love to work with rainbow colors and to wear the color pink. That automatically makes me gay? Huh? You're automatically suspicious of this? Yeah, I know this. Everybody always acts like I'm gay, just because I'm into girly things. But when a girl plays football, oh, that's progressive. But no, I have to be gay, of course. Of course, sure. Yeah, no. You're not at all prejudiced. No, I appreciate this. Yeah, the film has fantastic cinematography with very bleak browns and greens and black and grey in the military scenes, adding roughness and detachedness, and it uses fuller blue and relaxed green and warm red from the sun, which added to the relaxed yet happy feeling in the relaxed scenes with Kayla, adding a relaxedness and warmth and happiness, and it used dark blue and black in the scenes where Wolverine misses Kayla, fitting the depression. Also, the film could have really cool lighting in the more personal scenes, adding relaxedness. It also has a sense of humanity and calm, and it could be very bleak in the more depressed scenes, being in the background, adding a sense of sadness. And the film has really cold, sterile and robotic sets, adding a sense of emotionalism and lack of compassion in the scenes with the military, while they are very tender and cozy in the relaxed scenes, adding to the strong contrast. And again, adding to the contrast, the film also had really detailed, realistic props, and with them being very sharp and realistically like metal in the military scenes, adding to a sense of harshness, and being very soft and sweet, like the sheets in the house of Kayla and Wolverine, in the more relaxed scenes of them, really adding to the comfortableness and the loving feeling. And I've also found a way to kill two birds with one stone. And no, I don't mean like with Peter and Family Guy, like how I actually did it. I have done that a couple of times though, it's fun, like kicking a duck. No, actually, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just an animal. What, you also eat chicken, but oh, when you kick it, it's all of a sudden just for sadistic reasons. And that makes it differently, because the reasons why you do something justified. You know, we can treat animals like tools, but it better be because you just enjoy eating them. And then it's okay, but if you enjoy inflict pain, you're all of a sudden building up to be a serial killer. Like I would be a serial killer. But the point is, I figured out a way to kill two birds with one stone. I'm totally running out of jokes in this way too long, pompous, bloated review. And I recently saw a Scrubs episode. Well, not one Scrubs episode, many Scrubs episodes that bothered me. So I'm just gonna go ahead to talk about it again, making an off-the-point joke, and again being conscious about it, and again making a joke about that, and again making a joke about the Sickam, and again making a joke about that. It builds, and becomes more complex than Inception, which would seem impossible, but it actually happened. I made something more convoluted than Youth of Youth, which is a film you never want to see, by the way, because it's convoluted in a bad way. But the point is, let's talk about some bad Scrubs episode. Scrubs episodes. Scrubs can be incredibly sexist. It is really just female supremacist sometimes. Not like women are equal advocating, but advocating that men are less than women. It actually openly says that in many episodes, and it's very double about that. It states that sometimes men just need to admit that they're wrong, but at the same time they need to also be there for women. And then Dr. Cox had to be there for his wife Jordan because she lost her brother, even though it was also his best friend, and he didn't have any other friends, where she had 2 other ones, which was also why he was annoyed by them being there. And of course they were there to support her, but as she already has such friends, the loss of that brother just isn't nearly as horrible to her, because she wasn't always all alone and didn't have only one person to understand her, but he has to be there for her because he's the man. But oh no, women are totally strong, and you cannot imply that they in any way need your support, because that would be wrong. I'm sorry, but you can't have it both ways. That's just, no, they are blatantly doing that, and that's ridiculous. Either women are weaker, which they are, and you need to take care of them, or they're just as strong, but then they also have to take care of you, and you are allowed to have moments of vulnerability, for God's sake. God, where did this hefties lead? No, there, that was a funny joke, wasn't it? No, now I've filled my schedule again, so let's move on. The costumes of the soldiers and Wolverine are disordered, adding to an aggressive feeling, but Logan in his more personal moments has really tight clothes, although still a bit loose, fitting his rough but kind soul, and his and Kayla's clothes are very comfy, adding to a loving feel. The editing is really smooth in the romantic scenes, adding warmth, and swift and suspenseful scenes adding stressfulness, and it is very character dictated in drama scenes. Totally focusing on the characters' rhythms and moving with them, not going too fast. And this is good, as it again fits the character-driven feel of the film. Just as sometimes you don't need music or obvious sound to further a scene, and in some films you don't need loads of action or special visual effects, sometimes in many scenes you don't need special direction or editing. David Fincher and his crew knew this. They sometimes had more relaxed lighting and motionless camera work because the story at the time didn't require any more. That sometimes the director just needs to have the best lines and have the actors say them as well as possible. Luckily, no one complained about this in the film. I mean, imagine how silly it would be if somebody criticized the film, which was more drama-orientated, for having shot reverse shots and master shots, and called the director lazy. And it would be even sillier if he then complained that they had dialogue scenes where people just talked with each other, even though any film has this, and drama films have these even more. Then wanted unique visual ways to convey information, while it wasn't necessary to the story, and he was already complaining it was a mindless action picture, and only had the excuse action is mindless, but directional visuals are intellectual. You know, that's the only excuse he had to hide behind, which could easily be refuted by the brief statement that gratuitous effects are gratuitous even when not action-based. They are gratuitous nonetheless. How silly would that be? Man, I'm setting up my next game review and my Star Wars prequels defenses at the same time. In Plinkett's words, efficiency. I love it. I'm coming for blood, Plinkett. By the way, don't hate on me for hating on the most famous celebrity in YouTube, please. I've got OCD, and I've got Tourette, so I need to be oppositional towards him. So you would be discriminating if you did. And I will sue you. With Morgan Freeman as my lawyer. Or maybe Matt Damon. Believe me, I've got leverage over them. Yes. Sound can be really sharp in the darker military-based scenes, and it's very fitting there, adding to the feeling of harshness and mean-spiritedness, and to the hard story. And it can be very soft and fluid in the warmer scenes, adding to the feeling of sensitivity and peace. And the music can be really calm and sensitive, piano music, which is very fluent for the love scenes, adding really a feeling of love. Man, I'm getting diabetes. No, not from the music, but the chocolate. You should probably see a doctor for that. The music could be really dramatic and gritty for the war parts, with operaticness and rough drums, and could be eerie for assassination scenes. The action music is exciting and energetic, and it could be really hopeless and bleak also. The special visual effects are amazing, the CGI so realistic, the seas so fluid, the skies so deep, the explosions so dusty. It has such vast environments, the lasers are tense, the jets rough, the helicopters deep, the tanks gritty, the shooting lifelike, the power plants harsh, the walls detailed, and the stunts are natural with rough movement. And people complain about Wolverine's claws looking less realistic, but they are really shiny as they are brand new metal. Victor even calls them shiny in the scene he jumps from the plane. The moist water and rough movement, and it had detailed Wolverine in it. Wolverine looked very detailed in that, and it didn't at all look like a video game cutscene. And the makeup is really organic, with red cheeks having moist, thick skin, and Wolverine really rough blood. Although Xavier still looks like his face is made out of plastic and worn out and old, and it still doesn't look young, still looks old, still looks inconsistent, and still looks fake, and still looks unnatural. Like Michelle Obama and Some people are at the door, but we have the papal guard for that. That is the papal guard. Mercy in the name of Jesus. X-Men Origins Wolverine was a mega blockbuster grossing $373,062,864 on a $150 million budget and sold extremely well on home media and did great in rentals, but it got generally unfavorable reviews, getting 37% on Rotten Tomatoes with the consensus, though Hugh Jackman gives us all. He can't help X-Men Origins Wolverine overcome a cliche-written script and familiar narrative and 6.7 on IMDb, but did get positive audience reactions, getting 72% on Rotten Tomatoes audience ratings and got mixed fan reactions, a negative reputation and no cultural impact. So the first original film got great reactions, the second film, the first sequel, the sequel got even better reactions, and then the third film, the second sequel, the prequel, got received mixedly and less. Then the first two films and then the fourth film also got mixed reactions and less than the first two films once again. I think the film is slightly fairly rated for the success it got, but mostly extremely underrated for all the negative reactions it got. Man, these walls are starting to look so tight. I need some relaxing. I'm gonna look at Vatican porn. So it was a great production, it is an outstanding masterpiece and the best of the X-Men films. I think it's slightly fairly rated for the positive reactions it got, but mostly just extremely underrated for all the hatred it got that's completely undeserved, and I think Captain Logan is wrong, and so were Film Brain and the Blockbuster Buster. And they were way too negative, but I do think all their reviews were great, and that they made great points and highly respect their opinions. Now, go see it and I give it a 10+, and also I would like to recommend a subscriber of mine who has often supported my videos, Nobus3, who has made some very interesting videos with his friends. They're still children, but it's very impressive for that, because I think it's on the level of my earliest reviews. They still need to improve a little bit and that they need to become more in depth, that they need to have their acting more clearly scripted out, but it's just very good for that age and for beginning work, and it's all around just very interesting because it's very personal. They can really sound invested in what they're saying, and they can even bring up very original and good points about movies, even when their reviews are short, and they can make very funny videos. And they've supported me, so I suggest you check out their channel and that you subscribe to their videos and you subscribe to their channel. My mind is wandering. I suggest you subscribe to their channel and that you watch the videos and thumb them up and post comments and support my friends. And also please do the same for me. Bye! Oh, hold on, I had to do one last thing. I totally forgot. People also say that early Christians were just Christians, and that is just an overall term. All early Christians followed the Pope and Roman bishops, and they called themselves Catholics around the year 80 AD already. And ever since then. So, the first Christians were Catholics. Jesus was Catholic, so if you're not a Catholic, you don't follow Jesus, so you're a heretic. So, take that. Bye.